Welcome to her comeback. I'm so glad you're back with me. This is where 50 isn't your finish line. It is your starting point, the starting point of everything you want your life to be, the person that you are meant to be. I'm your host, Michelle Thompson, and we are proving that your best chapter may just be the one you haven't written yet. We'll continue each episode featuring honest conversation with women who have stopped going at it alone and have found their way to fulfillment, joy, and purpose in their second act. This podcast will show you how other women have made their comeback and how you can too. Welcome back.
Welcome to her comeback. Hi, everyone. Good day. I am so happy to join you today, one-on-one in a podcast studio with Passion Pam. Pam, thank you for joining me today, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So good to see you. So let's just jump in and talk a little bit about your story and what you do. You are a intimacy coach. So what was the moment that you realized sensual health and wellness was your calling?
Yeah, so I've been in this business, in this realm for 22 years. And so there's not one single moment. I started with a purpose back then, which shifted over time. So there's been thousands of real conversations that I've had with women, with men, with couples, with people of all walks of life. And so all of those different moments just kept solidifying over the years that I loved what I did. I loved talking about intimacy, sexual health and wellness, and just giving the voice to people for a taboo subject. Right? We don't want to talk about it. No. So I gave them a safe space to just be able to talk about that. I did realize at a certain point that it wasn't about the products anymore. And though the products was the lead-in, it wasn't about the products. It was about what they were feeling, experiencing. And so that was an important transition when I realized that people just needed permission to have fun and express themselves in the bedroom, which was, again, a taboo subject. Who do we talk about this to, right? So
absolutely.
I was always very natural speaking about intimacy and sex. It was maybe, I can't tell you what one thing made me be that kind of person, but I am. Friends would always ask me advice, and I don't know how because I'm not that experienced, but it's okay. But what I think happened is I just talked confidently, and if we didn't know the answer, we figured it out, right? More powerful, though, this particular, there was no one thing. As I turned 50, which I'm 52 now, I'm fully in this journey of over 50, and it has shifted and it has changed to be able to talk about our bodies changing. We don't talk about it anywhere else.
That's so true. And that's one of the things I love about the work that I'm in right now is just giving that space for women like us to be able to talk about whether it's intimacy, the whole thing with menopause and all of the many things that come with it. So yeah, I'm so glad that we're able to share and talk about this.
I'm excited. Yes.
Many women feel like they're invisible past their prime. And how did you in your journey kind of flip that script?
Yeah. So mid to late 40s is, I think, first up, I only learned this 2 years ago when I turned 50, that perimenopause can start as early as 35. And when I was 50, I said, oh my gosh, I'm 15 years late to this party. And even though I started my business when I was 30 and hearing women's stories, I only heard the basics. The night sweats, the foggy brain, just the basic things. I thought I was prepared. But then as time has gone on, and especially in the last couple of months, I've really taken it on full force. Women struggle with having this conversation.
Yes.
And I talk about this a lot to women that generationally we're different.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
So when our parents were younger and their parents were younger, so we're going to go back to our grandparents, they weren't living past 60.
It's true.
Right? So perimenopause and menopause happened and then you died.
Yeah.
Okay. There was very few living past those ages.
Yes.
Then you bring our parents into the mix and they're lasting a little bit longer. And they got the initial onset of what can we do about this? And unfortunately there were some bad things, but those are the things that have to happen to learn with research and education.
Right.
And now to our generation, the coolest generation.
Absolutely.
We're not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
We want help. We want a solution, not a Band-Aid.
Yes.
and we're going to get it.
Right.
So opening up about all of those things really has helped me, helped other people do that. I stopped asking myself, how do others see me? Because the subject that I was talking about, I walk in a room and they're like, you're talking about what?
Yeah.
And I was in the beginning, oh gosh, what are they going to think of me? But I stopped thinking that way. And I flipped the switch to, instead of how do others see me, how do I see myself? What am I bringing to this instead of what are others seeing?
Yes.
Now, of course, you want them in alignment, but you don't want what they're seeing to take over your thoughts. And then the final thing, that it didn't matter what others thought of me. My confidence grew because I started loving me for the person I wanted to be.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
That's how it grew.
That's awesome. And then once you love yourself, it becomes a sort of self-reinforcing cycle. I love myself, so I'm going to take care of myself. And the more you take care of yourself, the more you feel better. It just is a complete reinforcing cycle.
Exactly.
So you talk about being unapologetically you. So for women that have spent decades being everything to everyone else, how do you even start?
Yeah. I love this because the thing that made me really start at being unapologetically me, which was really only a couple years ago, was taking responsibility for myself in my thoughts, in my emotions, in my words, and then in my actions. So it's all started with my brain and the thoughts that I was saying to myself.
Right.
And how did I want to be? How did I want to live? How did I want to feel? Those things. And that's really what started me on the road of being unapologetically me. I've been told many times I'm too much for the room. And I just say, no, I'm just too much for you. There's other people in this room that love what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a great energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Noticing where other people, like we put blame onto other people, right? Oh, I'm not good at this because of something, right? Instead of saying, oh, I'm not good at this because I haven't done enough to learn about it or to figure it out. I also stopped people pleasing, right? I'm going to tell a quick story, though none of my stories are ever quick, but a quick story about my lipstick, right? And it actually happens to be this color, which is coincidental. But when I started my business 22 years ago, I was told, don't ever wear this color lipstick.
Why?
I don't know why. I just followed the person's advice because I thought they were my mentor and I thought they were doing good. And they did awesome for many, like so many things. But when I really started thinking about it, saying, why can't I wear my bright pink lipstick? And when I did change my hair from blonde to red, because I am originally blonde, I actually thought to myself, pink doesn't even go with red. How am I going to wear my pink lipstick? But then I decided that I didn't care anymore. It didn't matter if you think it doesn't match. That's your problem, not my problem. I love my pink lipstick. I'm going to wear it. It's my signature thing now, my pink lipstick or my vibrant lipstick. So those little shifts in thinking, becoming aware of how you react, whether you're blaming others or trying to please others, little things that helped me start to become me and who I wanted to be. I didn't need permission from anybody else. I gave permission to myself to be me.
All of those things that you're talking about is very powerful. So there's a lot of women out there that maybe just having that courage to turn that around. You're like, I'm going to do this no matter if you like me or not. Where did that courage to do that come from?
I think it just came from the fact that I think there was a point where I was tired of people pleasing and it was making me feel bad not to be myself. And I didn't want to feel bad.
Right.
Like when I left a room and people were saying things or asking me to do things and I was doing them because I wanted them to like me or fit in, or my subject is taboo. So let me be careful with how I say that. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
Right.
And so I decided that instead of going home and crying about, well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I let other people affect who I was. And the minute that I started making the decision to just do me, just be me, when I started to be me, there were no more people in the room like that because I didn't attract those people anymore.
Interesting.
So if you want something, be that, and you're going to attract that more.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how does sensual confidence carry over and connect to overall confidence? What do you think about that?
So in my years of talking about products, most of my conversations started with, what does this do? Being a bottle of something. And the conversation then went to, well, tell me more. What's your experience? And now I've flipped that narrative to say, tell me about your experience. What are you experiencing? Good, bad. You want to make it better. Maybe it's not bad and you just want more. Tell me about that experience. So it starts with the conversation around what that person wants to feel and wants to experience with their partner or even with themselves. And then we maybe go to a product or maybe not. Maybe mindset shift or a conversation that you have with yourself.
So you mentioned your products. Let's talk a little bit more about those, because I believe as you were getting started early on in your career, that's where this started with the products that you work with. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah. So to make my story brief, I didn't set out to be the sex toy lady in my life. I did have a whole nother career before this. But what I did know was that when I started my business, my children were very young and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And I wasn't a jewelry person. I wasn't a makeup person. And though I am all those people now, because it's who I love, I didn't know what I could do to make that extra income, right? To supplement and be able to stay home with them. And the company that I started representing and doing the products with just happened to fall into my lap. Coincidentally, planning a bachelorette party, there was a reason to it. I did not know it was going to be 22 years later that I would still be peddling products, but what it has done is made me realize that our pleasure is something sacred to ourselves and our relationships. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be experiencing pleasure. And why wouldn't you not want to enhance that pleasure? And so the products are there not to replace, they're there to enhance the intimacy that you have with yourself or with your partner. And then sometimes when we get to menopause, they're there for a reason.
Absolutely. That is right, for sure. So what is the biggest mindset shift you see in women who finally embrace this chapter of their lives, of who they are in the bedroom, who they are outside the bedroom? What's the mindset?
Yeah, so the conversations that I have and that I have with myself as well, because we're all in this state, we've gone through this stage, is being present in the moment.
So important.
So important. I would say that that's one of the biggest lessons is you can't go backwards. You can learn from the past. You can acknowledge the past. You can grieve the past. But the past is never going to be today until tomorrow. But living in that present moment to live forward, not backwards. And I see so many people get stuck in the past, stuck in, and I'm not taking away from trauma and all of those things. They happen, but they don't have to define you. And so what defines you is who you are right now today. Who do you want to be?
Wonderful. I want to talk a little bit about, you call it your edutainment approach. So why did you choose humor and a judgment-free space as your delivery method in the work you do?
So it wasn't on purpose. It just kind of happened that way. Like I just said, my little story there, I didn't know this was going to turn into such a big thing. But why I call it edutainment is that I believe laughter is the best medicine for everything. I think it's a cliche statement, but I firmly believe that laughter is the best medicine for everything. Now, there are times to be serious, but you can even laugh about serious moments. Right? So I believe that when people laugh, it helps them relax. And when you relax, you get more. You get more out of the situation. When you can take a deep breath and smile and laugh, it releases endorphins. I'm not going to get into the medical stuff because I don't know all the lingo, right? But it releases all of that good stuff. So when you laugh, it takes the burden off. And so using this platform of laughter and edutainment allows women to feel safe. It gives them permission to open up and not feel judged and not feel shamed. All of these things, just by cracking a silly, stupid joke, makes them laugh and go, okay, I can do this. I can talk about this. It's going to be okay.
Great. That's awesome. So what is a topic that surprises people when they realize it's actually joyful to talk about?
Are you ready for it?
Oh boy, I'm ready.
Sex. I'm going to just say it. Sex. That's it.
Just the topic of sex.
Just the topic of sex. People, I think when you get to know me and I walk in a room and I talk like I'm talking right now, they're like, how is she talking like that? and not feeling embarrassed or shamed or all of those things that we've been taught.
Right.
Right.
Culturally,
religiously, all of the different things we've been taught those ways. And that's not the way it is. That's not the way it is. So sex started off amazing for everyone, right? Whether you're in a relationship now for a long time, whether you're divorced, it doesn't matter. When you first had that time, it's amazing. And it should be that amazing every time. But we let habits, we let life, we let families, we let everybody influence us to not have a good time in that area. It's actually the only area that you have full control over when you're communicating with your partner about it. And that's a whole other subject, communication. So, and then I wanted to say this too, because it should be amazing. But as we age, body shifts and our body changes, starts to not become amazing. Right? But guess what? I have this saying that the buttons that you pressed in your 20s are different than the buttons you press in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s and your 60s. And we're living to 70s and 80s and 90s. And I know vibrant, sexually active 90-year-olds. Because they've learned what buttons to press. And I say buttons in quotation marks. It's not about the buttons. It's about learning that your body isn't the same and you need to figure it out again. Just like in the beginning, when you didn't know what you liked, your body's changing now and you have to figure out what you liked, what's different. And it does change. You're not going to like the same things that you liked before.
Interesting. I love this topic too, because we talk a lot about, I feel like in the news, you'll hear about staying active physically. And we live in Southwest Florida, so we have an older population here, and you see a lot of active older people. But that topic of sex doesn't seem to get talked about so much. So I think that when we talk about active adults, I think that sex is certainly a component of that. Do you agree? It
absolutely is. And I won't go into the Florida sex component of things. I'm sure some of our listeners can get what the innuendo I'm giving. But you know what? It's being safe, it's being protected, it's being respectful of another person. And if all of those things, including consent, all there, then why not? Why not? I'm going to say this to your viewers, and I say this to my viewers, and I say this to the people that I know. Sex is not all about love. No. That's a huge statement.
It is
because we've been taught, we've been culturally, religiously taught that sex is procreation.
Right.
It's for a purpose. No. Sex is about pleasure. Sex is about fun.
Talk about mindset shifts. That is definitely a mindset shift too.
Now, it doesn't mean you have to get away from your beliefs of staying with one person. That's different, right? That's a different avenue of this. But with that one person, you can explore different things. You don't have to do the same thing all the time. It gets boring and do the same thing all the time.
Any activity, right? It's like, mix it up, switch it up. So if a woman is listening and feeling disconnected to herself and she truly doesn't know where to start, like there may be some women out there listening to this and they're like, whoa, this is just way more than I don't even know where to begin in this. What would you say to that person?
Well, what I'm going to say is that you've already made the first step. You feel disconnected. That's the first step, awareness. Awareness that something doesn't feel right. And once you become aware, you have to think about it more. Like, what doesn't feel right? Why doesn't it feel right? What's happening? And that's really the first step. Okay. And you've done it if you're listening to this podcast. Awareness.
That's great. So what's one thing that you would suggest for every woman to add to her self-care routine that has nothing to do with face cream?
Right. No massages, no face cream. Honestly, the thing that has brought me the most peace over the last several years is time by myself, not doing anything. My happy space is the beach. And though I don't get to the beach often, I have an amazing oasis in my backyard. And so sometimes I just go sit out with the sun beaming down on my face. That's why I moved here. So more sun, 12 months a year. Yes. It's warm sun, but just time there. Shut your brain off. Listen to the birds. Listen to the breeze. Listen to the pool filter bubbling. Listen to those things. It's a form of meditation. People are afraid to meditate, but meditate is really just concentrating on one thing instead of letting your brain circulate. So being present in that moment and taking that quiet time for yourself.
Yeah. It's so important these days because there's so much 24/7 with social media, and we have news instantly all the time. And it's like shutting that down and just being able to watch the bird fly across the sky or simple stuff like that. And we need that. I know I need that as part of my own rejuvenation, just to come back to myself.
One of my favorite things sitting in the chair is watching the geckos.
Yeah.
I mean, they're amazing little creatures.
They are. They truly are.
And they're a little head bob. And, like it's amazing how put yourself in a different world. And that world is just peace. Mm. You don't have to be on 24/7.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So you host your own podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that and the conversations that you have on your podcast.
Yeah, I love it. So my podcast is called Be You with Passion Pam. And one of my favorite topics that I've talked about so far is having your shit all together.
I love it.
Okay. We as women, we multitask, right?
Absolutely.
And we walk out the door and we hold our heads up high, looking like we have it all together.
Yeah.
And then we go out there and we do everything. And this isn't just over 50. This was like, especially when you're a mother and you're running around with all the kids, you're trying to do everything. You don't have your shit all together. You never will. If you think anyone that you see has their shit together, they don't. Sorry, I'm saying the S word so many times, but it's important because we think we have to look like that, but you don't.
Right.
And saying no is another big one. Oh,
huge.
It's so hard to say no. But when you start saying no, a world of freedom is going to open up for you that you didn't even know existed because you were saying yes all the time. You were thinking that was filling you up when in reality is emptying you.
I totally get that. So true.
So Be You with Passion Pam podcast is on Spotify and YouTube. And you can also go to passionpam.com to check out my website. And the link is in there for all that stuff.
That's wonderful. So I have another question for you.
Sure.
What do you wish women in your community had given themselves permission to do 10 years ago?
So I think it's to evolve. We're stuck. We're stuck that today was a horrible day and it's going to be like this every day. And so by not allowing yourself to evolve and realize that today was just one moment, one day, and you could choose how to live tomorrow and choose how to live the day after that and the day after that, you're going to evolve on a constant basis. I've started replacing the word change with evolve.
I love that.
Right? People are so afraid of the word change. But if you think about evolve, I'm going to go to the cliche butterfly, right? And the cocoon and the butterfly. Yes. I'm not going to tell you the story because we've all heard it 100 times, but it evolves. It starts off as this little thing and then turns into this beautiful butterfly. And it doesn't matter how many times you do that, right? You might need to cocoon several times in your life, but then if you embrace evolving, you're going to come out better and stronger on the other side.
I love that you point out the difference between those two words, because I feel like the change looks like, oh my gosh, it's like this transformation, metamorphosis, something scary. And that is absolutely what keeps so many people stuck. But if you say evolves, that somehow sounds a little softer. There's more permission with that. Oh, I can shift here and it's not so scary. Yeah. So I love that you point out the difference in those words because I think that's important.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Is there anything else that in our conversation that we've talked about that maybe you'd like to just add about your work and what you do? Anything else that you'd just like to tell the audience about?
I really would love to finish in just saying this, that you are amazing. And if no one else is telling you that, it's not their responsibility to be telling you it. It's your responsibility to be telling you it. There's many days that I look in the mirror, and I did it this morning because I needed it this morning. And I high-fived myself. I learned this technique a while ago. I high-fived myself in the mirror. I didn't touch the mirror because I don't want to have to wash the mirror, right? I just pretended. And I said, you are amazing. You're loved. And if not by anyone else, to myself. Because I'm being the best version of me today, right now. So be you and be amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're
and
welcome.
just one more time, what is the best way for anyone in the audience to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch with me, all of my social media handles is at Passion Pam. So really easy to remember, Passion Pam. And the same with my website, passionpam.com. So look up Passion Pam.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pam. I really have enjoyed our conversation. It's been fun.
Yes.
I've liked the in-person as opposed to Zoom as I usually do. So thank you. I really appreciate your thoughts, and I wish you continued success in everything that you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Thanks so much for joining me today on Her Comeback. I'd be so grateful if you would subscribe to the show on my YouTube channel. Michelle Thompson Life Coaching. Go there for more encouragement, insights, and just real talk about making a comeback happen. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss new content. You can also visit hercomebackpodcast.com for notes, resources, connect with me, connect with other women and our amazing community who are rewriting their stories. I'll see you next time. Until then.